what are the attributes that you look for in a franchisee? What makes a successful franchisee for not only Walfinch, but within any franchise sector?
Yeah. I think there's the kind of hygiene factors of, are you properly funded or not? And, in certain sectors, like for us, there are obviously police checks and so on and so forth. So there's all of that kind of base level thing of saying, do you meet the base level criteria to actually even have a conversation? The other part of the other things that I look for, I look for people that are super engaged. So I want people that are involved in us full time. We are 100% engaged in all of our franchisees, and we expect them to be 100% engaged in this business. So I don't really tend to work with franchisees from a startup level that have other businesses or are full-time elsewhere and want to run this as an investment. This is a very much it requires someone's full attention. On that, I would say that we really look at people with a lot of grit and resilience, because these are hard businesses to start. They are not for the faint-hearted. It's quite emotional as well. When you're talking about people, we're talking about when we're talking about people, we're talking about families of clients. We're talking about clients. We're talking about care workers. Sometimes families of care workers. I've been in situations where I remember my very first sort of big package chap called James. He was born in the same year as I was born in, and we were providing this really complex piece of support to him. And I got to know him, and he was very funny. He used to do lots of mimicry and so on. And because it was one of my first big packages, I was involved quite a bit. I used to go along and make sure everything was going well and so on. And he used to mimic the way I laugh, and he was very good actually. So, and I remember he passed away, and I found that his parents asked me to come along, and I saw him and so on, and I found that really emotionally difficult. And so often at Christmas I'll still go and see his folks, many years on, and so these moments stay with you for a long time. And so I think it's really understanding people. We really look for people that are good with people. With care workers as well, it's really this whole thing is about leadership on both fronts. And you don't necessarily have to be a born leader. We can help teach that, but therefore we need teachable people as well. We need people that are willing to learn. And I'm still very much willing to learn. I tend to go to lots of different conferences, and I go to the States at least once a year on their franchise conventions and the British Franchise Association's conferences, and throughout the year, or lots of books and podcasts and courses and so on, because we're all on this learning journey. And so we look for franchisees that want the same thing, because we're constantly trying to push out information. We think, this is a slightly better way of doing X. And, everyone else is doing it this way. But actually, if we did it this way, it'd be slightly more streamlined and smoother and so on. So really thinking about the hygiene factors, thinking about being well-funded and so on, but also thinking resilience, thinking, being teachable and having that hunger to learn, being somebody that is a sort of willing to learn leadership and management and so on, and ideally someone that's had some experience in that. But if they are, I never had experience in that really before I started my first business, and I learned it on the hoof, but I was willing to learn, and I think that's the difference. It's you meet some people as franchisees, and I say no a lot to franchisees, actually probably more than my team would want me to actually often. I think one of the things that makes me feel like somebody might not be the right fit is thinking about, do I think they could run a business with multiple different moving parts and people? And so it's really thinking, yes, they haven't had the management experience and leadership experience, but do they have the right personality to fit that? And you have to make a judgment call, because I think as a franchisor, you have a great responsibility. If someone is coming to you with their life savings, and I had a conversation like this last week, where someone was literally coming to me and saying, look, I can scrape everything together and get just the right amount of capital for this. We really want to do it, thrusting a check under my nose. And I just said to them that I just don't think you're right for this. Here are the things that I would do, and go away. Let's learn more for the next 18 months, 2 years, come back. I'm very happy to have that conversation. But I don't think it'd be very responsible of me to take your money and know in my heart of hearts that I don't think that you could operate this in the right way.